Hi, I'm Dani Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of One-on-One. And actually, we've got two-on-one today, which is always a fun thing. I'm joined by Julia Bott, who is the Executive Director of the San Mateo County Parks and Recs, and also Mark Simon, who has a lot of hats that he wears on that big head of his, but today it is the Honorary Chair of the Tour de Peninsula. So, Mark, I want to start with you.
My hat size is 7 3/8.
Well, that's what I said. It was a big head.
Yeah.
But lots of brains in there. We do know that. We won't question that part of it. But media has been touting you as doing for the Tour de Peninsula what Larry Ellison has done for the America's Cup. I mean, how do you feel about the comparison and the stress of all of that with the Tour de Peninsula?
Well, you know, Larry and I have talked about that many, many times. The Tour de Peninsula is basically a charitable fundraiser, which the America's Cup will leave a lot of money behind, but I don't think it's for charity. It's basically to raise money for the San Mateo County Parks, which are really the gems of our area. You know, one of the great benefits of living here is that you're no more than about 15 minutes away from the ocean or the redwoods. And so this really celebrates that and also celebrates cycling. It's not a race, it's a ride, it's a bike ride. We've got official shortcuts. You can not do it at all if you want. We had one year, Rich Gordon was the honorary chairman of the event, and he did what was called the Gordon diversion. After everybody went off on the bike ride, he took a group of people out for breakfast.
Well, I'm glad you say that, and Julia, you can speak to this, that it's open to everyone, because Mark, I look at you and think, well, there's probably not a professional cyclist in your history there, but it is
He's lurking inside, yeah.
it is for all people, whether we love to get out and ride 25 miles a day or whether we're just sort of a sightseeing cyclist. How long has this event been around, and what are the kinds of things that have spun off from Tour de Peninsula?
Well, the event has been around for about 22 years. It's been benefiting the San Mateo County Parks, and I'm actually with the San Mateo County Parks Foundation. We're the nonprofit that supports the Department of Parks. And it's been supporting the parks since 1998. And it supports Bicycle Sunday, which is the Sunday closure of Cañada Road for cycling. And those are the types of folks who often ride in the Tour de Peninsula.
And when is it?
It is the first Sunday in August, always the first Sunday in August. This year it's August 5th. And we have routes that, for everyone, from beginners to various serious cyclists, 63-mile routes. We also have a great kids ride at noon in the park on its own enclosed loop, and they ride with the WebCorps ambassador riders. So we have these cute little kids riding with these professional riders on their own loop with a start-finish.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know with your other hat that you wear with Caltrain, you are Mr. Safety. So as kids are riding, how safe are the streets? How are you going to ensure that bikes and cars all get along?
It's incredibly safe. Incredible being the wrong word, because that means lacking credibility, which is more like up your alley, but it is.
Did you just call me lacking credibility?
You know, the thing about the tour, since it started, it always draws a certain percentage of people, usually a substantial percentage, who have never done an organized bike ride before. We've had people who show up on a one-speed Schwinn in wingtips, and then you see them 2 years later and they've done their first century ride and they've got the full road warrior regalia and they've become serious cyclists, and they've also usually lost about 20 or 30 pounds. So we really focus on making sure that those people who have never done one of these before feel safe. We cone off whole lanes of the roadway the whole way. That's one of the reasons we have the shortcuts, because you may think, oh, I'm going to ride 63 miles, and then you discover it's hard to ride east to west in San Mateo County without encountering some hills. So we have a place where people can turn around if they discover that they've bitten off more than they can chew. So the whole point is everybody has a good time, everybody gets back, and ideally, and this was really Rick Sutton who co-founded this with me, his ambition, that we want people to fall in love with cycling and with being active and being healthy. And then on top of that, we want them to fall in love with the county parks all over again. And so this route, it's almost a riding tour of most of the really great parks this county has to offer.
And Julia, talk about that. Where, if you can give a visual to our viewers, where are we starting and stopping, and what are some of the things we'll encounter along the way?
So one of the things you see on this ride is the best cycling opportunities that San Mateo County Parks offer. The ride starts and finishes at Coyote Point, which has a new part of the Bay Trail, a great riding trail in it. Then it also includes Cañada Pinata Road, again, that's closed every Sunday for car-free biking, skating, walking. It also includes Sawyer Camp Trail, which is a great trail to ride on. And this is the one time a year that is only open to northbound cyclists riding in the Tour de Peninsula. So you get to see the beauty of the trail and not have to be looking out for all the pedestrians, which you usually have to do on that trail. Right. We also work great with all the various local law enforcement agencies, so they do actually close some parts of the roads or cone off some lanes, though it's a ride, not a race, and so everybody's encouraged to follow all traffic laws and stop at all stop signs. And if you don't, you may risk getting a ticket.
Right, I've seen that happen before. You started this, what did we say, 22 years?
1990 was the very first year. Yeah.
So how does one sign up? Where do I go? And then let's talk about volunteers, because it's going to take a village to put this race on. It
takes a lot of volunteers. And it's one of the other things that's about the safety. First of all, yes, you have to observe the stoplights. That makes a lot of drivers crazy that cyclists don't do that. On this ride, you do. We'll have people at every major intersection flagging people through. Right. We need people to help with that. We need course monitors. We need people who are willing to ride the course in a motorized vehicle just to make sure everybody's safe. They can sign up through the Parks Foundation for the tour or for volunteering.
Okay.
You can go to Tour de Peninsula, just Google it, and eventually you'll find Tour de Peninsula 2012, and you can sign up that way.
Well, I know
you can also register the day of the event.
Okay, so two things about the day of the event. Registration, then do I have to pick my route prior to that day, or can I be riding along and then decide I'm 10 miles in and I'm going to take the next shortcut?
You can decide any route you want while you're riding.
Okay.
And you can register online at supportparks.org and click on the TDP logo, or you can go into Talbot Cyclery in San Mateo and even get a discount code before you register.
So there's some important things to know. It ends where it starts. How you get from the start to the finish is up to you. Okay. So if you decide to ride around the block once, throw some water on your face and go, whew, it's okay, it's all right.
How'd you know that's what I was going to do?
If you decide to do the whole 63 miles, which is a metric century, you're going to see an awful lot of redwoods and an awful lot of hills, but it's a real challenge. It's a genuine challenge, and that's, it was meant for everybody. So we talked about how it's important for people who've never been in an organized ride before. This is a great opportunity, especially for smaller kids, because we set up a course and they get to race, and you can see the joy the kids have. You can also see the joy their parents have watching their kids do this and do it in a safe environment. But if you're a serious cyclist who wants a really good workout, I mean, we've had people for whom the course has been so easy over the years, they ride to the ride, they do the ride, and then they ride home. This is a little more challenging, so it's a great opportunity. And I have to tell you our perpetual motto, no pain, no pain.
Well, so there's also another perpetual motto, and that is the dirty shirt.
The dirty shirt.
So we need to tell our viewers about the dirty shirt, because it's coveted.
Which you're wearing one of, yes.
I am?
Yes.
Yep. It says so on the back.
We have the back of one.
Yeah, and here is
the current version.
And is that meant to be the bike mud splatter that one would get when you are cycling down the road?
Yeah, this started, the leaders of every stage in the Tour de France get to wear the yellow shirt.
Right.
Well, I had a teacher years ago who said once about somebody who took off before they were supposed to. He flew out of here like a dirty shirt. And for some reason that intrigued us, and so we're keeping that alive in the honor of my old friend Sam Goldman. This is the original dirty shirt from the very first Tour de Peninsula. And you can see it's grown a little bit, it's gotten a little more dirty. This one was actually not pre-dirtied. It has the name of a defunct newspaper on the back, and for some reason, there's an accent on the E there. No one's ever understood why, but somebody made us take that off. Otherwise, I would have kept it just because it was
as all
silly.
Good events go, since we're supporting a great cause like the Parks Foundation, I see that you have a ton of sponsors that are supporting this event, unlike perhaps your first year when you had just the newspaper in town. So I think that's a great tribute to our community coming together to make sure that this Family Day is well supported.
As you know, you can't do events without sponsors. And our community is great about stepping up. And we have Alice's Restaurant and Buck's Restaurant that both provide food for the rest stops. We have the Fruit Guys providing food for the rest stops. Talbot Cyclery has really stepped up this year to help, and a lot of other sponsors.
Who would like the last word? We've got just a few seconds left.
The honorary chair.
Well, let me say this. This is critical for our parks. Everybody loves our parks. It's what we love about living here. We have to support the parks. And so it's all about the parks, really. It's about having a fun day. But, we can't fund our parks. We can't pay for what they need. this is why we're doing it, and it's a great thing. It's a great treasure that we have, and so it's a great chance to support that.
And I appreciate you, Julia, for coming and talking to us about Tour de Peninsula, and Mark Simon as the honorary chair. We'll see all of you next time on One on One.